What if I told you that the 2 to 3 hours before you fall asleep might be more important for your blood sugar than what you do during the entire day? Most diabetes education focuses on daytime management, but emerging research shows nighttime habits are critical. Today, I'm exposing the 7 seemingly innocent bedtime routines that could be causing those frustrating morning highs and the simple swaps that can transform your numbers overnight. What if that late-night sandwich is silently working against all your daytime efforts to manage your blood sugar? You might be surprised to learn that when you eat matters just as much as what you eat, especially in those evening hours. Many of us meticulously count carbs and monitor portion sizes, but completely overlook meal timing. Your body processes food differently depending on your internal clock, much like how plants respond to seasonal changes. As evening approaches, your body's insulin sensitivity naturally declines by up to 30%, preparing for rest and conserving energy, exactly when many of us ask it to process that bowl of cereal or late dinner. Take Emily, for example. Despite carefully tracking her carbs during the day, her morning glucose readings remained stubbornly high. When her doctor asked about her eating schedule, she admitted to regularly having dinner after 9 p.m. due to her work schedule. Simply shifting her meal 2 hours earlier resulted in morning readings 25 points lower within a week. This timing effect creates significant challenges for blood sugar management. The same meal eaten at 7 p.m. versus 10 p.m. can have dramatically different effects on your glucose levels. Studies show that consuming food within 2 hours of bedtime can raise your morning blood sugar readings by 20 to 30 points compared to having that same meal earlier. Your body's circadian rhythm simply doesn't support efficient carbohydrate processing during pre-sleep hours. This situation worsens with typical nighttime food choices. That bowl of ice cream, handful of chips, or cookies while watching TV introduce rapid-digesting carbohydrates when your insulin response is at its weakest. For most people with type 2 diabetes, the pancreas is already working harder than it should. Late eating forces insulin-producing cells to remain active during hours they should be recovering, contributing to worsening insulin resistance over time, similar to running an engine that desperately needs maintenance. The solution requires a reasonable habit change, creating a predictable eating schedule that works with your body's natural rhythms. Try implementing a 12-hour overnight fast, as diabetes educators recommend. Finish your last bite at least 3 hours before bedtime and aim for a 12-hour gap between dinner and breakfast. This gives your metabolism time to properly process food before sleep and provides your pancreas with a much-needed rest period. For those hunger pangs before bed, choose a small combination of protein and healthy fat instead of carbohydrates. A tablespoon of natural peanut butter, a small handful of almonds, or a few bites of cheese provide satiety without the glucose-disrupting effects of carbohydrates. By aligning your meal timing with your body's natural rhythms, you'll see more stable blood sugar levels and improve your overall diabetes management. Here's a surprising flip side to nighttime eating that few diabetes educators discuss. Going to bed completely hungry isn't the answer either. When your body senses true hunger during sleep, it launches a protective response, releasing stored glucose and stress hormones that can spike your morning numbers by 20 to 40 points, even when you've eaten nothing at all. Many people with diabetes believe that extending their fasting period will automatically improve blood sugar control. It seems logical. Less food should equal lower glucose levels, right? But your body has sophisticated survival mechanisms that can work against this strategy. When you go to bed with an empty stomach, your blood glucose can drop too low during the night, triggering your liver into action. Your liver responds by initiating gluconeogenesis, a process where your body manufactures glucose from non-carbohydrate sources and releases it into your bloodstream. This biological safeguard protects your brain during periods of food scarcity, but simultaneously elevates your blood sugar while you sleep, sabotaging your morning readings. This creates a frustrating paradox for many diabetics. You might restrict evening eating in hopes of waking up with better numbers, only to find your morning glucose inexplicably high. The more aggressively you limit nighttime food, the more pronounced this protective response becomes, creating a cycle that's difficult to break without understanding what's happening physiologically.
I tried both approaches.
Shares Emily, who's lived with type 2 diabetes for 12 years.
When I ate late, my numbers were high. When I stopped eating after 6 p.m., they were somehow worse. I couldn't figure it out until my doctor explained the liver's overnight response.
The situation becomes even more complicated for those taking diabetes medications like sulfonylureas or insulin. These medications continue working overnight and can drive your blood sugar too low while you sleep. Your body detects this dangerous drop and responds by releasing emergency glucose from your liver stores. By morning, this rebound effect appears as an unexplained high reading. According to Dr. Joshua J. Joseph, an endocrinologist, in healthy people, cortisol fluctuates naturally throughout the day, spiking in the morning and falling at night. But in participants with type 2 diabetes, cortisol profiles that were flatter throughout the day had higher glucose levels. This stress hormone connection explains why hunger-induced stress during sleep can disrupt your morning readings so significantly. The solution isn't found at either extreme of late-night feasting or complete restriction. Instead, aim for the metabolic sweet spot, a light, balanced meal 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. This timing allows for initial digestion before sleep while preventing the overnight hunger that triggers stress responses. The ideal composition includes a moderate portion of protein, healthy fat, and complex carbohydrates, just enough to maintain stable blood sugar without overloading your system. Your mental state before closing your eyes has a surprising biological impact on your morning glucose readings. Research published in Psychoneuroendocrinology reveals what many doctors overlook: the direct connection between elevated nighttime cortisol and stubborn high blood sugar. When your mind races with worry at bedtime, your body interprets this as a threat, triggering a cascade of hormonal responses that work directly against your diabetes management efforts. Unlike daytime stress that might be followed by physical activity, nighttime anxiety creates the worst possible scenario for your glucose levels. Your body releases cortisol and adrenaline while you're completely sedentary. These stress hormones raise blood sugar to prepare your body for action, but when you're trying to sleep, this extra glucose has nowhere to go, circulating in your bloodstream for hours while you toss and turn, like an invisible saboteur undermining all your careful daytime efforts. The Ohio State University research makes a critical connection many diabetes educators miss. In people with type 2 diabetes, abnormal cortisol patterns throughout the day directly correspond with higher glucose levels. When cortisol remains elevated instead of naturally decreasing in the evening, blood sugar becomes significantly harder to control. You might be doing everything right with diet and medication, yet stress you don't even realize is affecting your numbers. Your circadian system normally lowers cortisol before bed and raises it upon waking, the latter contributing to the dawn phenomenon many diabetics experience. When you go to bed stressed, you're essentially amplifying this natural morning spike, creating a double impact of elevated glucose when you wake up. This creates a frustrating cycle for many diabetes patients. High morning numbers cause more stress, which leads to even higher readings the next day. The problem compounds because these stress-induced spikes don't respond well to the usual management techniques. You might increase medication or restrict food further, yet still face inconsistent results because the underlying stress mechanism remains unaddressed. Breaking this cycle requires treating stress reduction as seriously as you treat diet and medication. Implementing a deliberate wind-down routine becomes a medical necessity. Simple techniques proven to lower cortisol include gentle yoga stretches, 10 minutes of deep breathing, or writing down to clear your mind. Some patients find success with guided meditation apps specifically designed to reduce nighttime anxiety. The physiological benefits extend beyond sleep quality. Properly managed cortisol levels improve insulin sensitivity and can potentially reduce medication needs over time. This explains why some diabetes educators now recommend stress management as a foundational element of blood sugar control, particularly for those with unexplained glucose variability. The soft blue glow from your bedroom screens may be silently programming your body for a blood sugar spike before you even wake up. While we've explored how stress affects your glucose regulation during sleep, research now points to another significant factor many diabetics overlook: the screens you're watching right before bed. Electronic devices emit wavelengths of blue light that your brain interprets as daylight, regardless of the actual time. This blue light acts like a reverse switch, tricking your body into thinking it's still daytime when you should be winding down. This biological confusion extends beyond sleep difficulties. Your body's natural production of melatonin, which should gradually increase in the evening, gets suppressed when exposed to these artificial light sources. Melatonin actively participates in your overnight glucose metabolism. When blue light disrupts melatonin production, the consequences substances directly affect your insulin sensitivity. Studies show that proper melatonin levels help regulate how your body processes glucose during those critical overnight hours. Without adequate melatonin, your cells become less responsive to insulin, setting the stage for higher morning readings, even if you've carefully managed your diet and medication. The relationship between screen exposure and glucose metabolism has compelling evidence. Research indicates that blue light exposure in the evening increases insulin resistance, with patients experiencing up to 19% higher glucose responses after nights with screen exposure. This means the same breakfast could cause significantly different blood sugar responses depending on your screen habits the night before. Imagine a typical evening. After dinner, you scroll through social media or watch an intense news segment. The content itself triggers subtle stress responses, releasing cortisol, which further impairs overnight glucose regulation. This creates a situation where both the screen's light and content work against your metabolic health. Even watching TV with the lights off or using your device on the dimmest setting creates enough blue light to interfere with your body's rhythms. The solution is implementing a digital sunset, turning off all screens at least 60 minutes before bedtime. This hour-long buffer allows your body to restore melatonin production and prepare for proper metabolic functioning overnight. For entertainment before sleep, consider alternatives without blue light: audiobooks, podcasts, or reading physical books under warm lighting. By eliminating blue light exposure in the evening, you're not just improving sleep quality, you're strengthening your body's natural ability to regulate glucose throughout the night. This simple adjustment to your evening routine could be the missing piece in your diabetes management strategy, leading to more consistent morning readings and better overall glucose control. Your bedroom's temperature might be the hidden culprit behind those frustrating morning blood sugar readings. While you've been focusing on diet and medication timing, the environment where you spend 7 to 8 hours each night could be actively working against your glucose management efforts without you even realizing it. Research reveals a fascinating connection between room temperature and blood sugar control. When you sleep in a bedroom warmer than 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 degrees Celsius, your body struggles to properly regulate its metabolic processes. Sleeping in a hot, noisy bedroom forces your body to work overtime, like trying to rest in an overactive factory that never shuts down production. A study in the Journal of Sleep Research found people sleeping in rooms above 75 degrees Fahrenheit experienced 23% higher insulin resistance the following morning compared to those in cooler environments, potentially explaining those puzzling morning numbers. Environmental factors extend beyond temperature. Even subtle sounds in your bedroom can disrupt your metabolic recovery. Noise as quiet as 45 decibels, about the same as a refrigerator humming, triggers stress hormone release during sleep, directly interfering with blood sugar regulation. Consider Mark, who meticulously tracked his diet and medications but couldn't understand why his morning glucose readings remained high until he discovered his bedroom was consistently 5 degrees warmer than recommended. After adjusting his thermostat, his numbers improved within days. These environmental disruptions particularly affect your sleep architecture. Excess warmth and background noise can reduce your time in slow-wave sleep by up to 35%. This deep sleep stage is when your body performs most of its metabolic recovery, including restoring glucose metabolism and insulin sensitivity. Without sufficient deep sleep, your body cannot reset its glucose regulation systems properly. Many people with diabetes experience a confusing pattern: perfect adherence to diet, medication, and exercise, yet their morning numbers remain stubbornly high. The answer might be as simple as the environment where they sleep. These micro-disruptions prevent your body from reaching critical deep sleep stages, but because you don't fully wake up, you never connect these factors to your glucose management. Creating an optimal sleep sanctuary requires attention to detail. Experts recommend maintaining bedroom temperatures between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, significantly cooler than most people keep their bedrooms. Using white noise machines or earplugs blocks disruptive sounds that might trigger stress responses. Visual cues matter too. Blackout curtains ensure darkness that supports your body's natural metabolic rhythms. A practical approach doesn't require a complete bedroom renovation. Rather than piling on heavy blankets in a warm room, try cooling your bedroom and using breathable, lightweight bedding that helps regulate your body temperature throughout the night, supporting healthy glucose metabolism. While creating the perfect sleep environment is crucial, the number of hours you spend asleep might actually be the linchpin of effective blood sugar management. What's truly shocking is that cutting your sleep short by just 90 minutes can increase insulin resistance more dramatically than many dietary mistakes. This essential aspect of diabetes care is routinely overlooked, despite mounting evidence of its profound impact. Sleep serves as a vital metabolic process your body desperately needs to regulate glucose. When researchers tracked women who shortened their sleep by just 90 minutes for 6 weeks, they discovered significant increases in insulin resistance. Postmenopausal women experienced even more pronounced effects. Your body becomes dramatically less efficient at processing blood sugar after even minor sleep restriction. The metabolic consequences of insufficient sleep are remarkably swift. Your body's glucose transporters, the cellular mechanisms that move sugar from your bloodstream into your cells, become significantly less efficient when sleep deprived. This forces your pancreas to produce more insulin to accomplish the same task, creating unnecessary strain on a system that's already compromised in type 2 diabetes. During those missing hours of sleep, your hormonal balance shifts dramatically. Sleep deprivation decreases thyroid-stimulating hormone while simultaneously increasing cortisol levels in your bloodstream. Think of sleep as recharging your body's metabolic battery. Without enough time to fully charge, your systems operate inefficiently, directly inducing insulin resistance and elevating blood glucose. The morning spike many diabetics experience after a poor night's sleep reflects this biological process. Your appetite regulation system falls victim to sleep loss as well. The delicate balance between leptin, which signals fullness, and ghrelin, which triggers hunger, gets completely disrupted when you skimp on sleep. With leptin decreasing and ghrelin increasing, you'll likely experience intensified cravings specifically for carbohydrate-rich foods the day after poor sleep, setting up a perfect storm for blood sugar challenges. This creates a vicious cycle many diabetics know all too well. Poor sleep leads to elevated blood sugar, which then causes increased urination at night, further fragmenting sleep. Breaking this cycle requires prioritizing consistent sleep duration with the same seriousness you apply to medication adherence or dietary choices. The solution lies in aiming for what sleep researchers consider the metabolic sweet spot, 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep on a consistent schedule. Maintaining regular bedtimes and wake times, even on weekends, helps synchronize your internal clock with your glucose rhythm, creating more predictable and manageable blood sugar patterns. Your glucose metabolism depends on this consistency to function properly. Your synchronized sleep schedule provides the foundation, but what fills your cup before bedtime matters just as much. When diabetics experience unexplained morning blood sugar spikes despite careful food choices, the culprit often lurks in their evening glass, where even zero-calorie drinks can trigger metabolic chaos through surprising pathways. Many people with diabetes meticulously track every carbohydrate on their dinner plate, yet their evening beverages frequently fly under the radar. These seemingly innocent drinks might be silently sabotaging your morning numbers through mechanisms completely unrelated to sugar content. Alcohol forces your liver to make a critical metabolic choice. When that single glass of low-carb red wine enters your system, your liver immediately shifts priorities, abandoning its usual blood sugar regulation duties to process the alcohol first. This metabolic detour typically results in elevated morning glucose readings, despite the beverage containing minimal carbohydrates. Caffeine disrupts your body's overnight glucose management. Evening tea or coffee, even decaffeinated versions, can contain enough caffeine to block adenosine, the compound responsible for signaling your body to wind down. This triggers stress hormone release. Cortisol and adrenaline directly oppose insulin's action and raise blood glucose levels while you sleep. Those sleep-promoting drinks marketed for bedtime relaxation often harbor surprising amounts of hidden sugars. Hot chocolate, malted milk, and many commercial sleep teas contain sweeteners causing overnight blood sugar elevations. Equally concerning, artificial sweeteners in sugar-free options can trigger insulin release in some individuals, potentially contributing to frustrating morning highs. Physical discomfort from certain beverages can further undermine blood sugar control by disrupting sleep quality. Carbonated drinks cause bloating and stomach pressure, while acidic beverages like lemonade, orange juice, and kombucha can trigger heartburn when consumed before bedtime. This reflux fragments sleep and triggers stress responses that elevate blood glucose, but fortunately, better alternatives do exist, and the right evening drink can do far more than just avoid glucose spikes. Some drinks don't just avoid causing problems, they actively improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and promote deeper, more restorative sleep, all while lowering your fasting glucose by morning. In fact, choosing the right drink before bed may be one of the easiest ways to support overnight glucose stability. In the next video, I'll show you the top 8 bedtime drinks backed by science. Some of them are probably already in your kitchen. Tap the video on screen now. You'll be surprised by what works.